Exam preparation and season can be overwhelming, even more overwhelming than the examination itself, especially when time is taken. And in this situation, you have maybe a month or less. But trust me, 1 month or less could be plenty of time to turn things around and set yourself up for success. In today's video, I'm going to be helping you to prepare yourself for exam, especially when you have just a limited time. So let's get right into it. Tip number one, assess your situation. You need to take stock of the topics that you have covered for a particular subject and the ones that you are yet to cover. You can divide these topics into two. Worst case scenario 3, strong topics and weak topics. Strong topics in this case will include topics that I am strong in. That means I've read them before. It will cover topics that it will be on the topic that you've covered. So let's say out of the 10 topics, strong in 5. And then weak topics will be topics that I'm weak in. I've not read them at all. I don't know what they entail. They're hard. They're whatever. You put that under weak topic. Some of you may include moderate topic, which will include not necessarily you being strong in them or weak in them. Maybe because it's something like calculation that, okay, even if you know how to solve the equation, you still need to practice some more questions to be well grounded in them. In that kind of case, they might fall under moderate topics. So after you're done with that, what you've simply done is to take stock of your courses. You have assessed your situation, you know where you are, you know what you've covered. The number 2 thing we're going to do is to create a study schedule. We're going to create a realistic study plan and study schedule. At this point in time, your examination timetable is already out, so we're going to use the examination timetable to create a study timetable. What you're going to do is to pick a pen and paper and write out from today's date till the date of your last paper. So you're going to do something like from what now, 10th of January to 11, 12, 13. Maybe your exam ends like on the 15th of February. I don't know. Just write out all those dates, and then you're going to fix your topics for each subject there. So for instance, if I'm starting my seriousness today, which is 10th of January, and my exam ends like 14th of February, for instance. Okay, so I'm going to write it out as something like this. I'm literally going to write out the date from today's date when I intend to start being serious with my life and to take my academics serious from now to the end of the exam till the date of my last paper. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to fix the subject here. Now, I'm not just going to fix subjects so I don't get confused. I'm going to put topics there, right? Because we have to study the weak topics too. We have to study the topics that we're struggling with, right? For instance, if one of the topic I'm taking is what now? I don't know, English. Okay, so under English, I've studied noun, pronoun, verb. I've not studied adverb, adjective, and conjunction, right? I'm going to start with adjective and conjunction on the 10th of January, and then on the 11th I'm going to study adverb, right? Then on the 12th I'm going to study math. I'm going to study algebra under math. Then on the 13th I'm going to study quadratic equation. Feel free to put like 2 topics for one day, right? Quadratic equation, and just use your exam timetable to arrange this in a systemic manner. You like just make it of your senses. So for instance, if you have an exam on the 26th of January, you already know that for the 25th of January, the paper that should be here is what you are going to write on the 26th of January. Then what you are going to study on the 26th of January will be after your exam, the paper that you have on the 27th, or maybe another day, right? I hope you get what I'm trying to say. You're going to carry your exam timetable side by side, carry the topics that you're here to study side by side, and then create a study plan and schedule. Do you get how often a particular course or subject is going to appear is going to depend on how much you still have to cover, how much you're yet to study it, how much you still have to prepare for it. That's what's going to determine it. Then you need to break your studying into chunks, right? Study for 2 hours or 3 hours, study a particular topic within those hours, and then take break and start another topic. It's exam time. Give yourself 30 minutes break after you're done studying a topic to review the topic, right? And then you move on. Now, step 3, after we've created a realistic study plan for this examination preparation, is to use the active study technique. Now is not the time to be doing some passive reading where you just sit down and you're staring at your notes like this, and then after some couple of hours you pack your bag and go. Exam is coming, so you want to make sure that as you're doing like this to study, it's going straight into your brain, because it just has to. Passively reading notes or textbook is not the best thing to be doing at this point in time. You need to focus on active reading. Active reading involves speaking out. So you're reading out, not necessarily making noise, but you could be murmuring, you could do as if you are teaching stuff. This is not the time to be skimming through, yet you might not have the luxury to be teaching somebody else, like the way active recall tells us to do. Find somebody, teach them. I mean, it's exam period, everybody's preparing for their exams and studying. You will not have the time to be, you will not find anybody to be teaching, right? So at this point, you can teach object, or you can just say it out. As you're studying it, say it out like you're teaching somebody. Explain the concept. Show your understanding of the topic is solidified before you move on, right? And then study with past papers, study with past questions. Check the cycle. How often do they ask this thing I'm studying? If you have checked like maybe 3-4 past papers consecutively, you see that that topic came out once. You might want to, skip a few things. So just read it calmly. So that if it comes out, say that Maggie told me to skip it. Please, I beg. Read it. Of course, you can't read it aggressively like the one that you could bet is going to come out. Study past papers to know how that particular question is being asked. It's possible for you to be studying a particular concept, it, or you just can't think of how a question will come out under this. Past paper helps, and when you check past paper, it will help you to know how to structure your answer, right? So you can prepare your answer in a structured form. For that, create summary sheet or flashcard. So when you finish reading like a topic now, pick a flashcard, just this paper, and in this front and back, summarize the whole topic. If you can do that, write something about the topic in this front and back, and you feel like this paper is not even enough, you understand the topic well, right? You can even divide it like this. You can divide it and summarize the topic here, here, everything. So for instance, something that has to do with disease. What is disease? Disease is illness or disorder of the body or mind. Now once you just write illness or disorder of the body or mind, you already know that that's the definition of disease. Like just small, just dedicate like 20 minutes after you're done studying to write everything on these flashcards. This flashcard is going to help you. Why? Because if you can do that, it means one thing. It means that you understand the topic. You already know about the topic. You have an idea about the topic at the barest minimum. If you can write something about it, and then it will also help you for revision. So if you just put it somewhere on your notes, when they are revising, maybe like 10 minutes to the time they're about to start coming in for your exam now, you can just run through this small flashcard and you have literally covered 4 pages of your notes in revision. That's what this flashcard does. That's what flashcard does. If you don't have flashcard, look for small paper. Aesthetics is not equals to good grades. Look for small paper and do this thing. If it's small paper, summary sheet, summarize everything there, small paper, put it in the middle of your jotter. They will come in handy for quick revision, I promise. Especially if you're the kind of person that when you were studying during the semester, you weren't jotting, it will come in handy. Or you jot normally, but this particular topic you've not studied it before, there's no time to start jotting. This helps. If there's something you're not sure, ask your classmates, ask your lecturer, ask ChatGPT. If ChatGPT is doing nonsense, break it down, explain like I'm 5. What is the concept of disease? You know what I'm saying? And the fourth thing we're going to do is to prioritize our weakness. Yes, those topics that you are praying to God that it doesn't come out. While you are praying and hoping it doesn't come out, if it comes out in the exam hall, can you do something about it? That's exactly it. Because the point of exam is not to test what you know, it is to test how well you can apply what you know. So if you know something and that question does not come out, how then do you prove to the lecturer that you know it if you cannot answer that particular question, right? And the point of exam also is for the lecturer to test your weakness, not necessarily your strength, your weakness. That part that is your weakness, that's what they're going to identify and fail you on. Only few lecturers will mark you on your strength. So a lot of lecturers don't mark based on what you have written. They mark based on what you did not write. What's that one thing that should have been in your work but you did not add? That's where they're waiting for you to fail you. Only few very nice ones are going to be like, okay, she didn't put what she was supposed to do, but at least she wrote this, let's go. Right. So prioritize your weaknesses. Your weaknesses might be the topic that you dread. They might also not necessarily the topics that you dread, but just topics that you don't like. You just will not answer if they came out in exam. But what happens if you plan to answer a particular question for exam and for some reasons just become unable to answer that question in exam? I'm talking based on experience. I have planned in my mind I was not going to answer this question, but I'm just the kind of person that would read everything, and then when I read out the question, I found out that the only fourth question I would answer properly and have a good grade was that one that I said I was not going to answer in exam. So what if I had not read it? I'd be stuck on 3 questions when I was supposed to answer 4. So guess what? If you do not have a clear AOC, area of concentration, on where to focus on and where not to focus on, prioritize your weakness. This is the time to focus on the ones that you don't like. Dedicate extra time to study them. Focus on your weak subject, but don't neglect your strong one entirely. I always say that this step is very, very important in case of contingencies. They are going to help you so much. Another way to focus on your weak subject is to dedicate extra time to study them. So, for instance, today you plan to study so topic, right? Let's say you plan to study what is legal system, but then one of your weak topics is the judicature. What you're going to do is that before you start studying what is legal system, just dedicate 30 minutes to study judicature. When you're done studying what is legal system, give it another 30 minutes to study judicature. I remember once when I was in 200 level, law of contract was that particular course. It was not a topic, it was a subject, a course that was stressing me and making me think about my life choices to study law. So what I started doing was that every night, even if I was not planning to study law of contract, every night I would dedicate like 45 minutes to 1 hour to study law of contract. So I was literally studying law of contract every day, even when it wasn't on my timetable while I was studying all my subjects. So if I were to study human rights today, I will first study law of contract for 45 minutes to open my eyes. Then I'll now start studying human rights that I plan to study for maybe the next 2 to 3 hours. Do you understand? So prioritize your weak subject, prioritize your weak topics. Step 5 is consistency. It's exam season, not mid semester. You need to study every single day. It don't matter if your exams are spaced and you still have like some days during the exam time. It's exam season. You need to study every day. It's not mid semester. Except in very rare cases, maybe you're sick, maybe you have cramps and all of that, quite understandable. But you need to study every day, no matter how unmotivated you are. As in, even if you chop breakfast during exam season, come ask me, I tell you. You have to study every day. Just try to read no matter what, even if it's half the number of hours that you usually spend studying. Just try to be consistent because at the end of the day, the progression that you are making matters a lot. If you miss a day for any reason, don't panic. Make sure you do not miss another day. Last step we're going to be doing in preparation for our exam that is just few days, few weeks away is to use our last week wisely. That week that precedes your real courses. That week that precedes the beginning of your actual exam, not those general ones. The real paper, the week that precedes it, that's where the main work is. At this point, I usually set another timetable. So if I've been using this timetable to study since, right, what I'm going to do now is that from this 7th of February, this last week, I'm going to set another timetable because chances are it would have changed. So maybe if I put BUS here, chances are I've probably covered BUS so much that I feel that NLS is what should be here. So in the last week, you're free to edit the timetable, of course, with still with due consideration to your examination timetable, but you have to consider how well you've covered this particular topics or this particular courses now. Then at this point, revision is what is going to follow. Revision, reviewing your flashcards or your summary notes, right? The ones that you've read before, your strong topics. Now is the time to start rereading them. The ones that are your weakness that you read, now is the time to still keep prioritizing them. Now is the time to go through the past questions one more time and be sure that you not only know the answer, you know how to structure your answer if you were to answer that question, right? You don't want to spend time thinking, okay, should I write this before this or should I put this before this? Structure it in your head before the exam day. At this point, you want to go through your syllabus for the last time and be sure you didn't remove any topic or any topic that is important. You want to make sure that you're not skipping any topic. You want to meet with your friends and, even if they're not your friends, people in the class that are serious, talk to them and be sure that if the lecturer, specifically pointed on a topic or specifically hammering on a topic, you want to be sure you're well grounded in that topic. At this point, you should also be open to explaining to those who do not understand because the more you teach it, the more it sticks. I promise you, be open to explaining and teaching. Don't say, oh no, I was studying, I don't have time. Be open. Avoid cramming new information at this point unless it is very necessary or maybe it's easier than the one you know. Maybe the definition that you knew is longer, you found something easier. It's okay, but avoid cramming new information as much as you can. And there you have it. Preparation for exam in 1 month or maybe even less can be a lot, but with the right strategy, it is very possible. If you found this video valuable, make sure to give it a like, comment, share, and good luck with your exams. I'm rooting for you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.